Hey, welcome to Tuesday. I'm Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen. How's everybody going? I have to be very careful now.
Yeah.
I used to throw this switch like all the way up to the top so people
Talking about the audio.
us. Yeah. So if you guys didn't tune in for the little test that I did yesterday, we have new audio, no more crackling microphones. Yay!
It's so fancy looking. You just to look at it, we have this microphone that's sitting in front of us underneath, like it's like right here.
Yeah.
It's so fancy looking.
And it picks up noise like...
Yeah, here, watch this. Okay, I'm going to do this. You can hear that.
Yeah, you can hear it.
For sure you can hear
Very
that.
lightly you can hear it, but yeah, this thing is pretty crazy,
So that's pretty sweet. We're trying to upgrade things. But anyway, so for the show, we're basically going to be talking about two things, maybe like 2.5 things.
Yeah.
All right, number
pretty
one,
much.
Capcom Cup. Number two, this is the weird fingers. Number two is Ultra Street Fighter 4 1.04 and maybe Omega mode. And then the next one is Hadocon. We'll talk about that also.
Yeah, and they're going to hear every motorcycle that drives by.
One of the busiest freeways in the whole country is right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, it's like 30 feet that way.
Yeah, not even a joke. There's a wall right there, right over the wall, freeway. So you're going to be hearing all sorts of things.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is still sometimes I'll be sitting here and I'll hear...
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh,
I've been here when that's happened. Yeah.
All right.
So, anyway, this past weekend on Saturday was the Capcom Cup at the Warfield in San Francisco on December 13th. Make sure you get tickets.
Make sure you subscribe. Oh, my God.
You know, we did this whole thing leading up to it where we did a little video on each of the competitors and we talked about all of them and then we had a show where we talked about, relative chances of success and picked our bracket and all that stuff. And all that was out the window immediately.
Yeah, because there's... The only person who could have possibly come close to getting the brackets right is if they flipped a coin.
That would have been better. That really would have been.
Because let's put it this way. Even if you got it right up to the point where Daigo and Shen played each other, 95% of the people weren't going to get that one right, given the 10-0 history and the 7-2 history and stuff. And Shen busted out this Dalsum all of a sudden. And but why don't we just go through the whole top 16?
Sure, I'll start at the bottom, I guess. Number 13 ties were E.G. Justin Wong with Rufus, CNB Shushu with Sakura and Sea Viper, Snake Eyes Zangief, Nishikin Blanca,
face.
Yeah, for real. Then ninth places were E.G. Ricky, Rufus, Bonchan Sagat, Curse Knuckle Dew, Guile de Capri, Mad Catz Umehara Daigo, Evil Ryu. So a bunch of names that I thought were going to show up towards the top were in the first half of this.
Yeah.
Okay? Definitely expected, Snake Eyes, Bonchan, Umehara. I really thought Ricky had the best chance at the Americans. So anyway, top 8 was GL Valmaster with Chun-Li and 1 Elena. That didn't go very well. Razor Fudo also tied for 7th. Fei Long. Tied for 5th were Dignitas Prodigal Son, a.k.a. Reinhardt, with Ryu and Evil Ryu. 5th place also was EGPR Balrog, only with Balrog. No Evil. 4th place.
No, he did go Evil once.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He didn't play him once against Ricky.
Yeah, and he lost immediately?
Yeah, he lost and then went to Balrog.
Come on, SRK.
Virtually, it's correct.
Infiltration with Akuma, Elena, and Chun. MD Luffy, Meltdown Luffy with Rose, got 3rd. 2nd place was Razor Shen with Gen, Poison, Dalsum. And then 1st place, winner of the whole shebang, E.G. Momochi, only with Ken.
Yep.
Didn't bring out the Jury or the Cody or the DiCapri or the Yun.
Yeah, right? One of the players
Ken.
that we said has this big, backlog of characters so he can counterpick really well. And he just said, you know what? I think 1's good enough.
And 1 was good enough.
Yeah.
It was. Even at the very start, I was so surprised that he picked Ken against Snake Eyes Zangief because, I talked about this with Snake Eyes in advance. Who do you expect him to play? Snake Eyes expected more Cody than Jury or Ken because Cody is a character he lost to actually last time he played Momochi. He beat Jury. And he plays Ken like every week.
Right.
He plays against the best Ken outside of Japan every week. But dude, the spacing was just something that you never see. The spacing was ridiculous. The little calculated risks, like the ability to I got knocked down by Zangief. Well, I have the control. He just takes control.
Let me wake up with sweep.
Yeah, sweep.
The funny thing to me is that if it wasn't for Ryan Hart with 4 miracle comeback rounds, Momochi probably just would have went through the entire winner's bracket. But he almost kind of did us a favor by putting him into losers bracket so we could just see more amazing Momochi matches. Because seriously, Momochi, the spacing that he had the entire tournament, yeah, exactly. That's the best way to put it.
That's the best.
It was so precise. It was ridiculous. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought he was so impressive. I mean, look, he was, I thought, one of the favorites. I even said so at the end of our last show as we were going off the air. After we spent 30 minutes not picking Momochi, I was like, oh, Momochi's going to win. As we said, just almost as a joke. It was just like a last minute thing.
Dude, okay, look, you were completely psychic, right?
Apparently.
You also joked about Charlie.
I did in SF5, and apparently he's there with some little bead
Crystal
on his forehead.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you were like, what if Charlie's in there?
And I just thought it was like, what's the stupidest character I can pick? Why would they put Charlie in? But there it is. That's really what I was thinking.
Dragon Ball Charlie or something. Yeah. I don't know what the heck is going on with him, but
other than Momochi's super dominance, was there anybody that you were, really impressed by?
Look, I was impressed by everybody. Okay, I'm just gonna say I was impressed by Europe as a whole.
Oh, sure.
Ryan Hart showed that why he is largely so. There's always that conversation of who are the best players of all time who play lots of games, right? The names are always Justin Wong Tokido and Ryan Hart. Ryan Hart's name always comes up there. He absolutely deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
Like we said, he's been playing forever, and he is just amazing, and he really showed it. He played so good. I mean, one of the people that he had to lose to was Luffy,
right.
who he's been losing to all year long.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, that guy really, 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 he impressed me a lot. So,
okay.
Valmaster impressed me a lot.
Yeah, Valmaster was impressive for sure.
I mean, I told him every time I watch him play Chun-Li, it makes me want to play Chun because he's just like buttons.
Exactly.
It looks so fun. So but like I said, Europe impressed me. Shin really impressed me. Getting to grand finals, getting to winners finals and grand finals like that. Actually, he just won winners bracket. That's right. Yeah, Momochi had to come back and take 2 sets. So yeah, he did really well. Yeah, I was really impressed with Shin, especially with that crazy ass Dawson pick. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the bracket, and it's not on CapcomCup.com anymore.
Because the problem is none of the brackets that we're going to look at are going to be exact, right? Because they had a different
kind of forgot about
paper bracket.
Kind of didn't mean to bring that up, but I totally forgot.
They had a different paper bracket, and they took a picture of it, and it was just a different system that paper bracket went through.
Indeed.
So. But yeah.
I thought that I just was really impressed by Shen because he hadn't been that confident in a lot of things. He got dunked by Daigo badly. I disagree. I thought
Actually, we should talk about that a little bit later. Okay.
And so and I know he was in character crisis and it wasn't going that well for him. And then he just really put in the time and he picked specific matches. And this is one of the benefits of knowing who your opponents are going to be.
You're talking about Shen, right? Yeah.
And who your potential second round opponent is going to be. You game planned for that, for at least those 2. That's what he did. He game planned for those first 2. Then he was like, after that, I'll figure it out because it's probably going to be something I'm not going to. Right. But I mean, it's hard to game plan for. So he specifically picked a poison where it would work out, and it did. And he specifically picked Dalsum, going back to the start of his Street Fighter 4 career, and nobody expected against Daigo.
Yeah, and did you hear that he actually talked with Filipino Champ?
No.
Filipino Champ apparently told him, do these 8 things and you can beat Daigo with Dalsum. So he actually helped him with that one. So Champ had an effect on that tournament. All right.
Good job, Ryan.
So, because apparently after Shen beat him, I read all these tweets that Champ just started jumping up and dancing and all these things like that. Because of course he's gonna take all the credit,
Well, yeah. But I just was really, really impressed. It's great, this guy I root for just because friends, and he's so turned it around compared to how it was going earlier in the year. So that's awesome. I was also really impressed by Infiltration. I don't know if I told you this, but I met some guys at the after party who said that they talked with Infiltration, and they said, hey, how long have you playing Atlanta? Didn't know that you played Atlanta. 1 day.
What?
He 1 day. A day. And he beat Fudo Fei.
Bullshit.
That's what he told them. I don't know. I don't have any more information on it than that.
Holy
That's
crap.
all I got.
Holy crap.
But apparently he just went into the lab. He heard a lot of people say
GamerB
that
did really
GamerB did well. He heard a lot of people talking about why Elena does well in that match. And he picked it and he tried it out and he was like, okay, there it is.
You know, I mean, there was one time I was talking about Chris G and he was playing some garbage ass Marvel team.
Okay.
And I was like, it's really impressive sometimes and kind of cool to see someone like Chris G use some of these characters. And I had a lot of people yell at me. They're like, they didn't do any character specific tricks and blah blah blah. And I was like, what's wrong with seeing someone use your character with pure fundamentals? And here's a perfect example of this. Infiltration, picking a character, doesn't know any of Elena's specifics and was able just to fundamental his way to victory. There's something fascinating about that.
He just was at a good range. I mean, look, dude, Eternal's even in the chat, and he backed it up just now. He said he was there during that conversation.
Right.
He just was at this great range. He knew about Faye having a tough time punishing sweep. I mean, and he had the links down, and he just looked great after what he says is one day. So that was really impressive to me. I really liked. Look, PR Rog's run was amazing. Okay,
I mean, before we get into PR Rog, I mean, seriously, like, if you look at that upper half of the bracket, outside of Momochi and Luffy, most of the people up there are the people who are having bad years. You know what I mean? Shin was having a bad year. Infiltration was having a bad year.
Right. PR Rog
was having a bad year, and
Reinhardt wasn't winning, although he was getting second place at a lot of stuff. Yeah, for sure, dude. Fudo didn't go to that many things. He just got dunked to Topanga recently.
That's right. I mean, he did really well. Fudo did really well.
That's what I'm saying. He got top 8.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I see.
He's one of those players who was up there.
Agreed. Yeah, but PR Rog and Hypest moment, that red focus.
Yeah, eliminating Daigo.
Yes.
Sent Umehara Daigo out of the competition. Daigo did not get top 8. Nobody would have predicted that. 0 people.
Dude.
Not necessarily that Rog beat him, but that Daigo to not get in the top half of that competition. Come on.
Look, nobody's bracket would have had no Japanese players in the top 4 winners.
Sure. Oh yeah.
By the time it got to top 4 winners, there was not a single Japanese player there. I mean, I pointed that out at the event, and I kept pointing it out because it's ridiculous, especially when you consider how much everyone just assumes Japan is the best at everything, right? You know, I mean, yes, they won, but
ultimately one guy.
But it was just him getting through there.
It almost reminds me of how when Infiltration started doing really, really well, people were like, "Ooh, Korea's taken over," but it was just Infiltration.
Right.
Nobody else was doing it.
Right.
That's kind of like how this is. I mean, so Momochi gets first place.
Right.
You got to go down to 7th place to find the next Japanese player, and they're only 2 out of top 8.
Yep.
Yeah. By contrast, all of the European players
are
in top 8.
Europe came out to play. I am wholly impressed by Europe. Luffy, Reinhardt all played really well. Valmaster played really well.
Sure.
I mean, he took out Justin pretty solidly too. So. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we have to address this though.
Yeah.
What about our boy Snake?
Yeah, Snake played badly.
Yeah.
He knew it. I mean, in between breaks for this thing, there was like a players' lounge sort of thing. It was like the downstairs. We walked down. They're all hanging out there. And I talked with Snake Eyes down there, and he was just like, "Look, dude, it wasn't my day. Like it's not my style to go 0-2. I know I played badly," and he looked at me and he was like, "I know this guy knows," and I was like, "Yeah."
I mean, he
just owned up to it.
It's interesting because like I would play one of my best friends. You just met him this weekend. I used to play him in Alpha 3 all the time, and he would just do all these things and beat me up, and he would just make me mad because it made no sense, right? Like he would walk up to me, and as soon as I get up, do meaty level 3 supers on me, and it would hit me.
Sick.
But then I saw him enter a tournament, and he started doing stuff that I've never seen him do. He was really bulldogish about low strong anti-air jump up air throw, which didn't work like 7 times in a row and stuff like that. And it just happens when you get nervous, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I really felt like happened to Snake. Yeah. That he just got nervous. The moment got to him.
It's by far the biggest stage. Literally.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not literally. Yeah. Evo's probably bigger.
Evo's bigger right now.
But there were more... the focus is on you in such a way at that location. Yes. It's just it feels different. A lot of the players we talked with said the same thing.
PR Rog literally came up to us and said, as soon as he walked out on the stage to play his first match and turned and looked at the audience, I mean, we took a couple of pictures from that view, but he said he turned and looked at the audience and he freaked out. Mm-hmm. He said he got freaked out, and he said that when he played his first match, when he lost the first round, he felt worse than he can remember in any tournament that he's ever played. It was just something about that environment that did that. And whoa.
Little mini power outage.
If our stream goes down, just letting you guys know.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Snake Eyes, he kept trying to EX Green Hand through Sonic Booms.
He just... Look, would he have beaten Momochi on his best day? I don't even know, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. But after that, he lost to NuckleDew, and NuckleDew was a very good player. But I really liked Geef in that match, and Snake was just not pressing buttons at spots, and he was EX handing at weird times, and it's not his day.
Nobody can say that Snake is only good against in US or whatever like that, because he's always done the best against foreign players.
Well, he just got 4th at EVO. He was the best U.S. player last year.
At the 25th.
You're right, the 25th. Yeah, So, he's got this record for sure, but he doesn't travel enough.
Right.
Huge part of it. He hasn't been in that situation enough times.
He hasn't been in enough unfamiliar environments.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at him afterwards. I was like, this is why you need to travel more.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah.
Even when you go to EVO, there are so many people from SoCal there. I mean, it's not the same situation, of course, but like you can look into the crowd and like there's all your boys right there.
And plus another thing too is every tournament you're playing at a table with stuff on your lap, looks just like you're used to. But for some reason you go there and all of a sudden you see this. I don't know if the fact that we were piped through the crowd also made the moment seem different. I know it messed us up.
It definitely messed us up.
Yeah, it screwed us up. Yeah. But for the most part, I don't know if that changes things for them. And just the environment was so different. Like I said, we've commentated tons of stuff, right? We've commentated EVO with 100,000 people online.
Yeah.
Before the tournament started, when I got onto the stage and looked out at the empty theater and tried to tweet about it, I could feel my hand shaking.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird. I can't explain it. It was really... It was weird.
I thought that I was going to be fine because I commentated at MLG recently, and we were piped in, and I was fine. No big deal. So I was like, it'll be the same. Not the same. It was really not the same.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so I don't want to make too many excuses for him. He definitely played badly, but hopefully that'll
saying
change
he
in the
played
future.
badly is not even an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Right?
No, that's
just true.
That's what happened. That's not an excuse. It's like the opposite.
Yeah.
It's admitting.
Yeah. And honestly, one more I have to talk about. Justin's got to get away from Rufus. I don't like his Rufus. You can tell because he played him in vanilla to be a rushdown because he wanted to be anti-turtle, right? And Rufus's offense was a lot better in vanilla than it is in a lot of the other games. Not necessarily because of nerfs, but because people have just developed anti-Rufus technologies, the option select crouches and stuff like that, right?
There's more tech for sure.
And now you see the way Justin's playing Rufus is more defensive.
Yeah.
He's kind of going back to old school Justin style. Whereas Ricky is like, let me just keep walking and dive.
Yeah, Ricky still plays that character well.
Right.
Sure.
But Justin, I feel like he needs to get away from that character.
Look, I've always felt that way, but there's only so much you can say to a guy who I also was like, dude, you got to stop playing this Storm team. Everybody said that. You probably told him that at some point.
Fair enough.
Everybody told him that.
Fair enough.
Then he wins Evo with it, so
yeah.
so I was like, look, all right, I'm gonna stop badgering this guy about character selection.
Right.
But I do think he'd be better off if he went elsewhere.
He actually did tweet something about that he might switch characters, and obviously the big news about Capcom Cup 2015 is going to spur him on to do something different.
You gotta bring your best. Well, is there anything else to talk about the results of the players?
Okay.
One thing is that I kind of feel bad for Shushu.
Yeah. I actually was about to say the same.
Say?
Yeah, because I wanted to mention, I don't know how well he did at Hadocon. I'm actually really curious to see how far he got at Hadocon.
Does not make top 16.
Oh, he didn't make top 16.
If you play it, I mean, it says on SRK that he entered.
Yeah. No, he was there. I definitely saw someone tweet, up next is Shushu versus blah.
Well, he did not make top 16.
Oh, that's too bad. Okay.
So that totally sucks.
Yeah, but dude, poor guy. Gotta imagine the pressure that guy had to deal with, right? I mean, he came here. There was like 3 Brazilians total who came up here, and you know he was saying the whole country is just like watching and waiting. God, that guy.
He had a couple tough draws too.
I mean, he wasn't even just representing his country; he's representing a continent.
Yeah.
You know, everybody else had at least somebody else from their continent,
right?
To kind of help along. So.
Yeah, I mean, he lost to, the first round was Infiltration. At first I felt like that was a good draw for him, but I thought about it more and I thought it was a bad draw. Infil is
too much experience.
Only guy in this whole list who has played against him at a major, as far as I know.
Oh, that's right.
And he's the one who takes notes and remembers everything.
Right.
And did really well. So, but he also he dropped combos and things that you could tell. I mean, he's known for having execution, so it's just a, I'm sure, rough environment to be in.
And plus another thing is then when you go to Hadocon, you're probably like, I need to make up for this yesterday, and you put even more pressure on yourself. But
that's too bad.
He'll be back. I
hope so.
Yeah, he'll I'm sure he'll be fine, and I'm sure this is just gonna make Brazil want to try harder.
I hope so. I really like to see those players more often.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Bonchan outside of top 8, Daigo outside of top 8. I just look at that. I'm like, man, that's.
It makes no sense, dude.
Very impressive from some of the other players.
But yeah, so.
But I mean, Bonchan, I guess now that I think about it, Bonchan played who? He played Fudo,
then Shushu,
and then he played, I think, Momochi?
No. Oh, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, no, he played.
No, maybe not. Top 16 losers. Then. I'm confused.
Why does he look like he disappears from this matchup thing?
This is
Bonchan plays Shushu, so then he would go.
Oh, and then Momochi.
Yeah. Okay, so he lost to Fudo and Momochi.
Yeah. So I mean,
so that's not. You can't even say you did bad.
It's a pretty good list.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, enough about the players themselves.
Yeah. You want to just talk about the crazy announcement at the end of Capcom Cup?
Sure. Yeah. So at the end of it, Ono came on and said that for the next year, there's going to be another Capcom Cup, this whole series.
Thanks to Sony.
And that the prize pool is going to be $500,000.
$500,000.
$500,000.
We went from 50,000 prize pool to $500,000.
Such a gigantic increase. It was insane. I had no expectation of that announcement, so I was really caught off guard.
Look, everyone's always like, "How much did you guys know?" But dude, we knew nothing about anything. The only reason why we found out how much it was, and my expression probably gave it away to the audience, is because they had the little screens there with the translations and what they were supposed to say, and it said something about $500,000, and I was just like, "What the?" Like my mouth probably just did this WTF, and I was like this, and I'm sure the audience was probably looking at me like, "What's wrong with him?" Because I could see it before it was announced, and I was just
it was funny too, because when Ono spoke before the translation, Ono spoke, there was like some murmuring in the crowd. I could see some people, and they were like, "What?" Like one out of every many people who speaks Japanese. And then they announced the whole thing, and everybody blew up.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous. That is so exciting. I'm super thrilled, but I mean this means so much. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is too, I'm just gonna make an assumption. Maybe you should make it because you're psychic and you can predict everything that Capcom is planning to do. Apparently,
I'm the best.
But look, everyone's asking questions like, what does this mean for the other tournaments? Are they gonna be not as big? Blah blah blah. Dude, they are going to spike a lot of those pots.
I really don't think that the 500,000 means that Capcom is starting its own series.
Right.
Because they tried that, and it didn't really work out that well.
In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that $500,000 was spread throughout the entirety of Capcom Pro Tour.
Yeah, I would think so. That's just what I would guess. I don't know. But yeah, I really expect them to just kind of put that in the pots for other tournaments. Maybe that comes with some strings. I don't know. But yeah.
And a lot of people saying, well, this is obviously good for Street Fighter only, but this doesn't help any of the other communities. But I disagree.
Okay.
Because if you say, hey, look, go watch NEC with this pot bonus.
Yeah.
Well, I guess NEC's done, so that's a bad example. Well, actually, no, NEC did count for... Yeah, never mind. So let's say NEC, right? NEC, they say there's a pot bonus of $5,000 for Street Fighter, right? Then the event is going to get more press, and it's going to be bigger, right? If this event is bigger, all the stops are going to get more announced. And so people will learn about the events. They'll come and watch casually, and they'll run into some of the other stuff. And if we're commentating it, you guys know when we commentate these Capcom Fighter streams, we talk about the other channels. We're always like, go watch this other game. Oh, we can see Mortal Kombat on the screen right now. Da-da-da-da. We do this all the time. You know, we're going to promote the hell out of every other fighting game. So I don't think it's bad for the community.
I think it's great.
I think it's great for the entirety of the community.
I agree. And hopefully it spurs more developers or backers in general to do this kind of thing. You know, we already talked about how there's going to be a Killer Instinct thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Not necessarily by the developer themselves or by the publisher, but there is going to be that sort of series. So hopefully, you know, it just kind of pumps everybody up.
Right.
That is definitely the hope. Everybody, including maybe a little bit of scratch, a little toss, a little UltraChen way.
We're going to be traveling a lot next year, I have a funny feeling. So
I think you're probably right about that.
But yeah, no, I'm super excited about this. I think this is super awesome. Super awesome. And I love the fact that it's worked out that there are now two big ones at the half a year apart. So EVO in the summer, Capcom Cup at the end.
Good point.
It's a great spread of the time. You know what I mean? Because before, after EVO, that second half was usually dead time, right? Now there's two chunks in there, and you can see how important EVO is. If you win EVO, you are guaranteed to be top seed practically at Capcom Cup, and that's huge. That's super important, right? So winning EVO is still going to be huge, you know, for Capcom Cup. So I think they're going to feed off each other and help each other very much. So
yeah. I would expect so too.
Yeah.
You know, there were questions on Twitter about is this going to kill EVO? Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because it's a totally different kind of event. It's only one game. It's closed entrance. It's more of a show, really, than a tournament. For me, at least, an open tournament that allows at least half a dozen games is always going to be the more important thing. 1,600
players. Because the thing about it is, you still can be put in the same pool as PR Balrog.
Right.
And that's exciting.
Yeah, you could knock that dude out of pools.
Yeah, right?
You could. It happens sometimes.
Dude, who was the random T-Hawk guy that almost beat Punko that one?
And that stuff happens almost every year.
Right.
Somebody doesn't make it out of pools.
Yeah, and
you expect.
Dude, that's where you get your name. That's how you make your name. So it's actually really super cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. They also showed SF5.
Yes.
Street Fighter 5, if you've been out of the loop.
Look, I mean, I have it listed down at the bottom over there to talk about a little bit. There's only a few things so just go watch L.I. Joe's breakdown. He did a really good job with the breakdown. He did a really good job analyzing that match.
Okay.
He pointed out a lot of really cool things. If you just go look up Joe Charamelli, or just go to YouTube and type L.I. Joe Street Fighter 5, and the link will come up. Or go to front page of SRK. I think it's on. It's one of the articles on there. Check that out. He did a really good job breaking it down. There's no reason for us to repeat a lot of the stuff that he did.
Sure.
There's some really interesting things he pointed out.
I haven't seen it, so I gotta go check it out myself.
Like Ryu does low forward fireball and hits Chun-Li and it's his 4-hit combo.
Yeah, I noticed that at the time.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so check that out. Is there anything else you wanted to say about Street Fighter 5?
SF5? Nah.
Because the only thing that still remains unanswered for me right now was the new gameplay trailer they showed. Because remember how they showed a different one there?
Yeah.
There is one part of it where when Ryu does attacks to Chun-Li and she blocks it, it looks like his attacks don't finish animating. Like he does sweep and it looks like it stops his kick and he kind of pulls it back or something like that. I don't know if that is a special block or maybe that's just happening the whole time and I don't notice it because it's going too fast or something. But I'm super impressed with all the little custom animations that they're doing for everything.
Look, I think Ryu is pretty ugly. but like the animations are ugly.
Yeah.
But they're animated well, if that makes sense. Like if you see his little crouch short, he like just kind of weirdly puts his little. It's like really weird looking. But even though it's weird looking, it's animated very nicely.
Yeah. For sure.
I don't know. We'll see. It's just an alpha.
Noodle hat.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, it brings to mind like a whole bunch of different possibilities.
Yeah.
Right?
There's
like,
a lot of little interesting.
Is there like DLC or stuff, or
yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of potential there. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it's just a stage thing. But
yeah, but definitely check out Joe's video. He
Yeah.
does a really good job breaking down of what's going on in that match. And yeah, I mean, I personally still think the game is far away. Far
I would think so.
And everything is going to change.
I'm sure it will.
That is for sure.
Tends to happen.
But I'm excited for it right now. I think it's really cool. So.
Last thing to talk about with Capcom Cup. Well, maybe before we talk about how horrible I was, people seem to really enjoy the event.
Yes.
Okay. It's just a very unique event, right? You go to this famous theater, theater like you would see a play, except it usually has bands instead of that, with a balcony and everything, and just a very unique, very pretty building, and there were setups to play on while it was going on. There were 4 bars in the building, so you could drink.
Oh, in the building?
Inside the building, there were 4 bars.
Geez, okay.
I noticed. I noticed. I was sort of tweeting with some of the people in there when we were on break, and they all seemed to be having a good time.
Yeah. And you know...
Which is great.
I guess we should talk a little bit about, obviously the commentary being piped into the audience and stuff like that. Everybody there seemed to really enjoy it.
They did. Everybody we talked to said it was really good. Yeah. And it's funny because I remembered it being good. Like sometimes like I get done with the commentary and I'm like, that was ass. But this time I was like, I think we did a good job. And like Seg and then everybody was like, hey, good job, guys. And I was like, all right. And then yesterday they replayed, or maybe it was Monday, or Sunday, I don't know. They replayed.
They rebroadcast
the tournament. Yeah, they rebroadcast. I should say. And man, I was boring. Straight up, I was quiet and boring for like 80% of the time.
I mean, because you mentioned that you felt like the commentary was bad, right? I mean, do you think it was both of us?
No, I thought you did a better job than I did.
Really?
For sure. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look, I don't think either of us did.
Right, because I was not happy with.
It was not. It's not our best work.
Yeah. But I mean, to be honest with you, the weird part about it is, so I didn't feel very comfortable afterwards. Right. Yeah. I kind of like a lot of times. There's been tournaments where afterwards I'm like, I felt like we did really good. After that one, I felt like, because there were just some times where I was just like, I don't know what to say because I'm scared to talk and all this stuff, and I was like rambling and whatever like that. But I actually got a lot of positive feedback.
That's great. I did too.
More positive feedback than I've ever gotten at like any event. And so it was the weirdest thing. Yeah, it was really strange to me. So,
I don't know how to explain that either. But yeah, for me at least, I reacted to being in-house in a way that I didn't expect, which is that I got quiet because I just didn't want to blow everybody's ears out, I think, is what it was. I remember like being worried about how loud we were when we were starting. I was like, how loud is this going to be? So I was worried about that. And then there were times when, look, Snake Eyes is playing against Knuckle Dew. In my head, I'm like, here are 4 things he's doing wrong. And I would want him to I want him to change these 4 things.
Right.
And I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to influence the match.
Right. Exactly.
I thought that would have sucked.
Yeah.
So as a result, while I'm commentating on that, I listen to that, I was just like not adding that much. I was like, he does EX hand, he like presses a button here. It was very narrative, not very interesting.
Right.
And then, so I talked with a bunch of the players about character selection beforehand. And so when some players came up, like I knew Shen was going Dawson.
Yeah.
I already knew that Infiltration was going Elena. But I can't say that.
Right.
And
because we do all the time when we do commentary. Yeah, we're always like, we talked with Blah, and he's gonna bust out this character.
Because it doesn't matter; they can't hear us.
Yeah, but this time we were like, so you think he's gonna keep with this character?
Yeah, which is very boring commentary. Like, why would you bother saying that?
Yeah,
Like, what are you adding to the conversation?
Yeah, exactly. Who's he gonna pick?
Yeah. Oh, thanks for the question, David. He's gonna pick Ken, obviously, unless it's Dawson.
Right. Exactly.
So that was stupid. But by the time that it got towards the end, I think we did a better job.
Dude, towards the end, I felt so bad when I asked the audience who they were cheering for.
I thought that was good.
It was good, but boy, poor shit.
No, it didn't work out how I thought it was going to either. I really thought that was going to be about a 50-50, maybe 60-40.
Right?
60-40 maybe.
Dude,
it was like 80-20.
I felt so terrible after that because, dude, I felt like I might have sucked the life out of Shen or something like that. I felt so bad.
But I thought that was good for crowd purposes.
Yeah,
because we did so little crowd hyping.
Yeah,
until the end. We did at the end a couple of times. But at the start, like, match would start and I would just be like, okay, it's like Infiltration versus whoever he played against, Shushu, and all right, here it goes. As opposed to being like, on the left. You know what I mean? There's like a lot more you can do.
Right. For sure. We will definitely work on that. Yeah.
But anyway, by the end, I thought we did a good job. Okay. And when Shen was playing in Grand Finals, we were breaking it down like pretty well, I thought. Okay, like we were really like, or it was against Luffy. You know, the whiff punishing he was doing, he was just standing at this perfect range. There were these like critical things that we brought up that made it a little bit more interesting. So.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Martin's idea of having the speakers so that they're pointing at the audience and the players sit on
that would be great.
They would still be able to hear it, but it would be muffled, so it would be harder for them to hear. So there's a lot of ideas. Some people have also brought up the idea of doing radio. Right. So the people in the audience can hear through the radio instead.
You know, I was talking with Bardolph on Skype. The guy who streams a lot of London stuff in the UK, Europe in general. And he was making fun of me for the fact that I don't want player booths. He was like, "You got to get over it." I was like, "But I don't want to feel separate from the players. I don't want them to feel separate."
I agree.
Like that's important to me. And he was like, "Come on, man! Like they're only in there because it makes them play better. Like it's not a hierarchy." And I was like, I kind of feel like it is.
Yeah, no, I
feel like it is. So, but it just was interesting to get his perspective as somebody who is really into Counter-Strike and from Europe, and maybe they don't have the same sort of FGC ideas.
I mean, to me, it's not about hierarchy as much as it is that I feel like FGC is all about hearing the crowd and having the crowd kind of like right there with you. So there's something about that. Like I always still remember that one time where Martin was playing Marvel 3 and someone did like I think it was like Sentinel did Hard Drive and Justin yelled uppercut in the audience and then Martin did uppercut and died.
I do remember that, yeah.
But I mean that kind of stuff is kind of how I feel like that's how the FGC just kind of works. You know what I mean? I like that. I like that feeling. So I don't want the player boots, not so much as the hierarchy, but so much as I feel like that separates the player from the crowd. And I like the fact that the crowd can affect them. You know what I mean? I just don't want us to affect them because even someone like Justin could yell terrible advice and get Martin killed every once in a while. You know what I mean? But, you know, I'm not saying our advice is right.
No.
But that's all we're doing is sitting there yelling advice and analyzing. So,
Yeah, you're right. A couple people just brought up interesting idea of having delay between the player, their screen, and the rest of the feed.
Oh, I see.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, that would mean that you like can't see the screen. The way that it was set up at Capcom Cup, if you weren't there, was that here's the screen, that the big old screen, and then the players are facing the screen playing, so that their little screen is also facing the crowd. So you could watch the little screen if you could see it, if you had good enough eyes. I don't know. That's an interesting idea, though.
Player boots that pump in super loud crowd noise. Yeah, put crowd speakers in there.
That would be hilarious, actually.
That actually would be really funny. I mean, look, the Goth Garrus put a little Kappa face in there.
Yeah,
there's actually some legit thought to that, maybe. Like, if you mic'd the crowd and pumped them into the booth, that actually would be really funny.
That's impossible, though, because if you're micing the crowd, then, like how can they hear us if the crowd mic doesn't also pick us up?
I guess that's true too. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, lots of ideas. So But I mean, honestly, like I thought Mike did an awesome job. I thought
Mike did great.
Yeah, I thought Mike did a good job.
I thought Matt D did well up there.
Yeah.
He did what he needed to do.
And honestly, like I tweeted a picture early on in the day. I took a picture of all the streamers and stuff like that. And I do want to give them credit again. Like they're the real heroes.
Oh,
like it sucks because we get FaceTime and you hear us or whatever like that, but we just I tell everybody this, like if me and you, like sometimes we'll just get together when we're not at an event and we sit down and we watch and it's like we're commentating anyway, we just talk to each other, we're doing what we just do, right? But those guys down there are doing the work, so they're the real like heroes. So definitely. And Hanzo was actually on point with social media.
Yeah, okay, so before we get out of this, I did see some of his stuff. He was doing social media, and it's hilarious, of course. Look, the music I thought was really good. I really liked it. That said, I do think that it was a little bit out of place and too long. Mm-hmm. I totally understand people on the stream not liking it. If you're there, like when we were there, and I heard the music, I was like, all right, like this is pretty sweet.
Right.
And you can kind of get a feel for like a rival. He's like into it and stuff. It was cool. But I did think it went on too long. But if you are at home, you just got this one shot of like poor dude just like there.
Yeah.
With no context. Maybe everybody hates it. Maybe everybody in the crowd is like, boo, but you have no idea. Or maybe they're enjoying it.
Right.
Which a lot of people were.
Look, I mean, it
wasn't well done.
My point of view is that when you're live there, when the music's playing, you can turn to your friends and talk. You can start hanging out. You can do stuff. When you're sitting at home, and that's what you just have on the screen, and then it starts, and if you're by yourself, that sucks.
I was watching Mike Ross's little show earlier today, and he said it really well. He was like, look, in that audience, we had great sound system, and it sounded nice.
Yeah.
And there was...
You feel the music.
You could feel the music and stuff. If you're watching it at home by yourself on your little computer speakers, totally different story. and while they were streaming, he was playing some of A Rival's songs, and people in the chat were like, "Oh, all right, like this is pretty good actually."
Right.
Because it is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And you just like a lot of people, I think, just kind of ripped on it. Because I can understand if you're at home, it's a totally different situation. Mm-hmm. So I do wish that they had done it a little bit differently. Hopefully they will next time. But I like the idea of it. I just thought it wasn't carried out as well as it could have been.
And you can't go as long. It shouldn't go as long.
Shouldn't have been as long.
There has to be breaks. Otherwise, we are going to die. Like, seriously, like, half the time, we're just like, we need a break, because we need food, we need... One time we
doing my little pee dance.
Look, one time, one of the breaks went long because of us, because we went to go get food.
That's
and
true.
We were like, screw going back up, we're hungry, and we're eating, and Segway just walks in the room, he's like, dude, you guys missed your cue.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
We ran upstairs. So, but yeah, I mean, we have to get breaks every once in a while, so, but yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it's a different story. By the way, he showed me the iPad, and we were hanging out later, and he showed me, like, the tech, and it's, like, totally legit DJ tech. It's he has all the same stuff. It's just, like, on an iPad.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's, like, a funny thing to rip on him for, but it's, like, not relevant, really. It's, like, one of those things that's, like, easy to attack, but, like, if he had brought the whole setup, it would have just been, like, cosmetic. It would have just been, like, useless.
Yeah.
Anyway... anything else to talk about with Capcom Cup?
Nothing that I can think of right now. So let's just go ahead and.
Oh, one last tidbit about the match. I don't know why this just popped into my head, but Momochi versus Shen. Shen told me that he had no expectation of winning that at all. He played against Dark Jiwa in Singapore. Apparently, Jiwa came, and Jiwa blew him up.
Really?
With Ken. Shen only won one set. They played like 7 first to 5s or 5 first to 7s, something like that. And Shen only won one of those sets. So he was like, if I can't beat this dude, I have no chance against Momochi.
And so he try like Dhalsim and stuff?
Tried all his characters, yeah. And so he was like, I know that I can't do this with Gen. I know that Momochi's practiced. He knows Gen. So I'm just going to like bring out Poison. Like maybe Poison's going to work. I don't know. He tried it out. It didn't work. And
you know what? Honestly, that explains a lot because Shen is his own worst enemy, in my opinion. He kind of falls into that little like a little bit easier than other players, and it looked like it because by the time it got to the second set, he barely even put up a fight. Same thing that happened with Snake Eyes. First set, he did really well. Second set, it's just like he just kind of gave up. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, man.
Okay, well, anyway, break time. We'll talk about Hadocon when we come back, and then we'll get to the Ultra 1.04 patch.
That's right.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to the show. We totally forgot to talk about Eduardo not mapping his buttons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I mean, okay.
PR Balrog did not map his buttons properly, and in part, that's why he lost.
Yeah, because he uses that apparently to do his ultras.
Yeah.
And he did nothing.
Yeah.
And
I remember him doing headbutt and not doing ultra, and we were like...
And then he says if you watch the match, you see him empty jump backwards later on. Like, he just jumped backward for no reason. He said he jumped backwards just so he could hit the button to see if anything happened. And you see him jump, and nothing happened. So he said, oh, shoot, I didn't map the button. And to his credit, he was really sad after he lost. Like, we could see it on the side. He was slumped over a rail with infiltration, like, patting his back and stuff like that. Like, it's okay.
It sucked.
It's okay. But, Balrog, Eduardo hasn't blamed anyone but himself. I mean, he knows it's his own fault. So, yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. Well, that wasn't the only tournament up in the Northern California area last weekend. There was also Hadocon 6.
Yep.
And, a lot of the players who were in attendance at Capcom Cup were there.
Yep. They took it. Hadocon basically was smart, actually, and they were just like, hey, let's just take advantage of that and have everybody there.
Yeah, it is definitely very smart. So they had, a few different tournaments. They had Street Fighter 4, they had Smash Melee, they had Marvel 3. Let's talk about SF4. Top 8 of that, starting from the bottom, was Alex Myers Sakura.
Well, let's do top 16 because there's so many.
Oh, yeah, why not?
There's so many people. So.
BJ Unchained Cody, 16. Well, tied for 13. BJ Unchained Cody, Driftwood Fei Long, Mark Teddy Guy, Crackfiend Barlog. Then 9th places were Fawaz from Washington with Viper, Julio Yun, Nando Fuerte, Particle Sun Reinhardt, Sagat, 9th place.
So, speaking of that, go ahead and finish the list that we'll talk
Certainly, about. Top 8. Alex Myers Sakura, Velociraptor Goken, 7th places. 5th places were Snake Eyes Zangief and Hudaman DeCapre Honda. 4th place was XSK Samurai Evil Ryu. 3rd place was Brent with Rufus. 2nd place was Chris Tatarian with Ken Rose. 1st place was Knuckledew with Guile DeCapre.
And people booed Knuckledew when he came on stage.
Right. Yeah, people were like, he only qualified because of online stuff. He's a really good player.
Did you see his tweet? That was the reaction to the boos?
No.
Which was genius.
Yeah.
I gave him so much props for that. He basically said in a tweet, he's like, you guys have to stop chanting "do" because it sounds like you're booing.
That's right. I actually am not sure. They might have been saying "do."
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I wasn't sure at the time.
I don't know. Maybe.
I wasn't sure at the time.
Maybe. Okay.
Anyway, he was very good. He won this tournament.
Maybe they were saying "do." I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah,
but I
wasn't sure at the time.
But he won the tournament, so
yeah, he got 1st place. As you can see, a couple of the competitors who were in Capcom Cup did not win it. There was only one of them. Well, I think only 3 or 4 entered the tournament, but only one of them got into top 8. And that was Snake Eyes.
Yep. And one of the things, I guess people were saying, they were saying "do earns." I mean, were they?
Maybe they were, dude. Like I said, I couldn't tell. Yeah,
I know, because it sounded like they were booing because Knuckledew's reaction was like really funny. And I haven't heard people chant
Never
"do"
heard
before.
"do." Yeah, I mean, if we're at like a baseball game and somebody's name is something with an "oo," everybody says "oo."
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. Anyways, the one thing that I did read that was interesting to me was that Sanford Kelly actually tweeted about the tournament, and apparently Snake Eyes played Reinhardt, and Reinhardt played Sagat, and Snake Eyes won 4 rounds in a row.
I saw it.
Oh, you watched the match then?
I did.
Okay.
I also saw immediately after the tournament, after Capcom Cup, I saw them having a money match.
Oh, did they?
And I walked by and it said 2 wins over Zangief's name. And then I went to the bathroom and I walked back again. And that didn't take very long, okay? And it said 6 wins over Zangief's head.
And how many for Reinhardt?
I don't know, but there were at least 6 straight for Zangief.
Right.
Or at least 4 straight for Zangief. Maybe they started at 2.
You mean that wins thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The little win streak.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I watched a little bit of it, and it was just super impressive. He just walked right into the corner. That was it, and then bam, bam, bam.
And it's not going to get any easier for Sagat.
It's not. Right. You're right. Well, but you know what? Shout outs to the SoCal guys, Chris and Brent. And
Brent beat Snake Eyes,
Brent did beat Snake Eyes. It was amazing. Obviously, everybody went nuts. I was happy for him. Very happy for him.
Yeah, Brent, he's been on the cusp of being amazing for a while now.
For sure. Yeah, and then Velociraptor, Snake Eyes, Velociraptor, Alex Myers, all SoCal players. Because I remember thinking earlier in the year that NorCal had the best scene. No, I don't think so anymore. I think it's SoCal.
I mean, look, Huda Man was the only NorCal person to make it up there, right?
Well, you want
XSK Samurai is like
fair enough.
right?
Fair enough,
so, yeah. But other than that, look, it's East Coast, SoCal, Central Cal, NorCal, SoCal. That's pretty. What happened to the 5-on-5 or the NorCal SoCal thing that was supposed to happen?
That was won by Team RIP NGL.
Oh, was that just a team tournament then?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Wasn't there supposed to be a NorCal SoCal exhibition?
Is there an exhibition? Let's see. Yeah, apparently there was. SoCal won it 5-4. Wow, check this out. Julio Yun beat Mark Teddy Guy, Alex Myers Sakura, and Bren Rufus. And then Chris T beat Julio, BJ Chain, LPN Cami, Huda Man Honda. And then Kelvin Makoto beat him, and Velociraptor sealed the deal.
Wow.
That was probably pretty hype.
Go Chris, dude.
I did not know about that.
Holy crap. Dang.
That dude's
good job, Chris, dude.
He is like he's like just below like the very best. That's going to come soon.
He's right there. So.
That's going to come soon.
And you know what? The best thing about it now is that he's watched Momochi just destroy Snake Eyes. So he knows now that it's him, not the character.
Right.
He knows.
Right.
He is 100% aware now. So now he can't blame the matchup in any way. Like, as soon as if he ever cries about Ken Zangief, I'll be like, and then he'll be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Zhu won Melee with Falco. Toph got second with Fox.
Nice. Cool.
Gar Sheik then smoked 2 pesos with Dr. Mario.
Nice.
Marvel 3 was won by K-Beast. Nice. With Viper Magneto Dante.
Wow. So Apology Man second. Okay.
Apology Man second. GC Yoshi with Chris Spencer Sentinel got third.
Okay, there you go.
That's Hadocon. Very smart to place it right after Capcom Cup.
Yeah.
A lot of players are up there.
Very cool.
Very smart, yeah.
Yeah.
If I had stayed, I definitely would have gone to Hadocon.
Yeah,
I flew Sunday morning.
I don't know if I would have went just because I was like exhausted. Look, normally, you know how when you sleep in, you usually wake up and you're like, holy crap, I slept in. And you look at the clock, you're like, my God, I slept in a really long time, right? So I went to bed. So my friend lives decently far away from there, right? So I stayed at his place that night. And we didn't get to his place until like 1 a.m. or something like that. So I didn't get to bed until like 3 or something like that, right? Because that's just how I am. I don't fall asleep fast. And then I woke up at like 2 p.m. the next day, and it was like the fastest. I woke up at like 2 p.m. and I was like, oh, it must be 10. I could probably sleep in a little bit more. And I looked at it, it was 2. I was like, holy crap, I should get up now. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I definitely understand being tired.
Yeah.
I woke up at 4 a.m. on Saturday.
Oh, geez, that's right.
I was an idiot, man. I didn't fly out Friday night. I flew up Saturday morning, which in retrospect was stupid, not just because I was tired. I wonder, actually, now that I think about it, if that contributed to me being like kind of quiet sounding. I wonder.
Oh yeah,
I was really tired.
True, huh? No, that probably helped.
Actually probably was part of it. I didn't think about that before.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part of it was that if there had been a delay, the whole thing would have been screwed.
Yeah.
Like, if my flight had been late, it would just
and with all the weather.
Totally. Yeah, and it was likely, right?
Dude,
how stupid.
As soon as all the weather started happening, I was like, oh crap.
Yeah, there was recipe for disaster, but yeah. Anyway, it turned out all right.
Okay. In any case, all right. So, do you want to just talk about the patch?
Yeah, just talk about
the patch.
Yeah, sure.